Hey, Aloha Remark Marketing Agency owners, Tom Gaddis here coming to. Where is Tom this week? I feel like that should be a segment now. Where will Tom be when they go live? It's a mystery. Actually, this
You look
week,
like you're in Mexico.
I skipped the country. I was like, Nick, I'm out of here, bro. No, I'm actually at a place not far from my house called Tivoli Village. And this morning we had a huge Cox Wi-Fi outage that has been going on since like 8 a.m. It's still not back. So no Wi-Fi at my house. So I had to scramble. And this is here, you guys can see this place. This is a nice little kind of like sit outside work type of thing. I'm actually in front of the cigar bar where I go. So, and if you're going to join me for happy hour after this live, you might get to see the inside of the cigar bar. So we'll see.
What are we doing at happy hour?
Happy hour is a Q&A for anybody that was at our RM training or anybody that has questions about RM or just has questions for me. I'm just going to be hanging out for however long, taking questions, pretty chill. I would recommend if you're going to come that you mix yourself a good strong drink, maybe a margarita. I know it's like 80 degrees here today. It's like perfect weather, right? Long Island iced tea, maybe. I'm having a triple espresso right now. And we're just gonna hang out and chat. So it'll be fun.
You're gonna laugh. So I'm also having a coffee right now. But you know how when it's first thing in the morning, you're not really thinking very well. You're just, getting your coffee together. Well, this is a funny thing that happened, Tom. I didn't really realize this until about 30 seconds before we were getting on the live, but I brought the wrong cup.
Nice. I hope Cameron took a picture of that right there of you holding a cup that says wifey.
I brought the wrong cup. I was like, oh shit. This is not going to be good.
That's great. That's great. Well, listen, we're excited. You're all here. I see people coming in. I'm going to cue up the intro. We're going to jump back in and hop in, get this live cracking. So see you in a few minutes.
Ready for the fastest 60 minutes of strategies and tactics to build your remote business from anywhere in the world? It's now time, the moment you've been waiting for. After 167 agonizing hours, they've returned. Now, back for a brand new Sharks Live show. It's your hosts, the Offline Sharks, Tom Gaddis and Nick Ponte.
I like hearing that Hawaiian music. Probably feels good now that you're back there, right? You're like,
oh yeah,
I got the palm tree. I got the palm tree behind me, so fits right in. Perfect.
Hey, I want to do a quick audio check. Everybody, can everybody hear us? All right, both Tom and myself. Is the volume good? For some reason on my end, Tom's a little quiet, which I just want to make sure everybody's.
So Cameron's the mom. You're the wife.
Yeah, Cameron. Cheers.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, pretty funny. Well, that
is pretty funny.
So everybody that's going to happy hour a little later with Tom, make sure you get your favorite mug so you can. Is it a Zoom call, Tom?
It's a Zoom call. So it's a
Zoom call.
Yeah, you guys can either pop questions in the chat or you can raise your hand and I can unmute you. Like it's super chill, super chill. So don't we're just gonna hang out. Like you guys are gonna need me to ask me questions and all that stuff, and so it's super chill. But it'll be fun. Cool. Those types of things I think are awesome because I know when I was just at the live event here in Vegas, the casual sessions were where like the best information came out, right? Because somebody asks a question and it takes you down a road like maybe you normally wouldn't go down, and maybe something I'm not even thinking about. So, yeah. He said, I sound quieter. Yeah, I'm plugged into the MacBook, so we'll see. Awesome. So a couple things, Nick, before we get this live going, a few things. Number one, we want to give a little shout out and some shark love to our fighter pilot friend, Jeff Hershey. I don't know if you guys have seen, but Hershey just launched a new product a couple days ago, and it actually ties in really well with Home Services Jackpot. And It's something that we normally would have been emailing you guys about and talking to you about, but unfortunately we had other things in our calendar and we couldn't do it. But I wanted to give a little shout out to Jeff. We did put together a little bonus package, just so you guys know. So if you're interested to take a look, that's all I'm asking. You don't have to pick it up, but maybe head over, take a look at it. Let me find the link here. I'm going to put it up on the screen. If you just go to offlinesharks.com/simple, we don't normally do stuff like this at the beginning of the live and all that. But we want to, Jeff's not only a great guy who's just here in Vegas. I got to hang out with him and his family, but the course, the product itself is really good. It does tie in very, very well with Home Services Jackpot. And right now it's on a special launch price. And if you guys pick it up, you'll get all the bonuses that you see on that bonus page from us. They're delivered instantly. So really great thing to check. So take a look, give Jeff some love. If you have any questions, let me know. But awesome little product and course. And I know you guys will like it.
Yeah, and so just so everybody knows, like the bonus that we put together, right? These are all basically behind the scenes of what we're doing, right? So, you know, for those of you that haven't gotten a client before, or maybe when you speak to clients, you struggle with knowing what to say, or maybe you have a little bit of nervousness in even approaching that type of call. Well, the bonuses that we have for you, want to jump down to this case study here, right? This is a real live case study where I actually land a $2,000 per month client, right? So you can hear me close a lead on Google Ads, right? So $2,000 a month. If you've ever wondered how that type of deal is structured, how that conversation is had, this is going to be something that's going to be so valuable to you. I can't even express how beneficial, how helpful it was to hear conversations of somebody actually talking to a local lead and closing them as a client. You know, there are things that I probably continue to use till this day when I'm discussing with clients from that first time I heard somebody do this successfully. So it's super valuable. This is why we put these bonuses together. You know, obviously Hershey's program is amazing, but our bonus package too is something that you do not want to miss, right? Here's another $150 an hour digital marketing consultation. For those of you that, you know, maybe you don't know how much you're worth, how much you should be charging per hour. Maybe you should be charging $150 an hour. Maybe it's just a shift in perspective. Well, maybe you should check this little bonus package out and you can see how somebody that presents themselves at $150 an hour sounds and how you can maybe mimic that for yourself. So there's a lot of really good bonuses here. We have other stuff to talk about too, but if you're at all interested on this bonus package and what Hershey has, offlinesharks.com/simple. And then,
check it out. You know, it's interesting talking about the sales recording call, right, Nick? Just to give you guys an idea how valuable that stuff is. So yesterday on our remote Millionaires coaching call, I was actually talking about our sales evolution process, the process we use where we bring somebody in as like an appointment setter, and then over time we grow them into a full sales rep role where they're closing all the deals hands off with us. And a critical component of that process is us recording our calls with potential clients, right? And then playing those calls with the person, talking about what's going on, why we're saying what we're saying, asking them questions, getting feedback from them so that they can understand that process, right? And then the next step of that, the next evolution of that is to record the calls they make and then sit down regularly and go over those calls with them to help, you know, to coach them up and help them become better at what they're doing. And that's really how you build a superstar person that doesn't necessarily have to be a salesperson out of the gate, but you can coach them up and train them up and put them in that role where they're handling the whole process for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And just so all of you know, what we're going to be talking about today is really a little bit about the business model that we operate under, right? The 3-step process that we follow in order to bring clients in, but also fulfill for those clients without using any of our own money, which is a huge shift for Tom and I when we first got started. And also the margin that we kind of operate at if we are a boutique style agency, which I think a lot of you are. So that's kind of our topic for today. Let me pull this link Tom off the screen. Darla says that she heard a turkey in the background. Is there a turkey back there?
There's not a turkey. Well, I mean, I'm a turkey, but besides that,
there's no turkey.
I do hear a bird chirping
here. This is a dinosaur.
I do hear a bird chirping in the background, so maybe that's it.
JT's asking where I got this shirt. So JT, if you go to localmarketinggear.com, you can get all the small business rescue squad stuff, offlinesharks.com/gear. This is, Tom. If you guys know Jake, Bob Ross, Tom, me, Jake, this is our product line. This is our merch line right here. Small Business Rescue Squad. You can go there at any time and pick up any of that stuff.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. All right. Let's get started with some shark shout outs. Can you, man, you should have seen the fiasco I was going through to try to get applause for when we do the shout outs. Man,
were you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, first it was like I got here to Tivoli like an hour before the live started, so I could try to download and have applause and all that stuff. And it was like, the universe was like, nope, Tom, you are not going to be able to do that.
Did you see how Cameron put us on blast with our Aloha shirts?
Oh, hey, look at this. Yeah, this is even better. Look, I made a little slide that we can put
oh my god
to show the happy hour.
Oh my god.
Except yours says Friday under it. It should say wifey.
That's
we almost look like we're wearing the same shirt there.
Yeah.
I was like,
that's pretty
what?
funny.
I think you can tell where he kind of blurred mine. I think that's what he's going for. Make us look like we were dressed together.
Yeah. Take that down.
Oh man, that was a good one. Anyway, let's do some shark shout outs. So
okay, let's do it.
You able to pull up the perfect here? Hold on, let me
look at Snoop. Look at Snoop in the corner with the sip, 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 sip.
Oh, hold on, I'm pulling it up so I can see them. Okay. Awesome. So a lot of great shark shout outs this week. And as you guys know, every week what we do, we like to celebrate the wins that people share inside our remote marketing agency owners Facebook group. The team puts this awesome graphic together. So let's start off with Miss Jill Ashton. She picked up another website client, 2,000 pounds. So that's $2,650 in US dollars. And the possibility for SEO still on the table. So congratulations, Jill. That's an awesome win. Awesome win. Our Remote Millionaires member, Bill Stanley, he closed another 2 project management contracts this week, 500 and 1,200. Bill's really a great example of how the processes and things that we teach inside Remote Millionaires, especially, the remote selling aspect of things and stuff like that, you can really sell any type of service that you want to offer in your agency and to clients, right? And Bill does some project management stuff and able to use that stuff for that. So congratulations, Bill. It's good to see you having some wins there. Also, a shout out to Michael Marquez. He gave away a free 5-page website, which resulted in $100 a month for minor updates to the site. The client also promises to patch his name over to others she knows that can use his services. So, $1,200 a year client plus some referrals, all just for giving away a free website, which we have a ton of those on Offline Sharks.
That's an awesome strategy there, and I've actually been thinking about this, Tom. I haven't really had a chance to talk to you about it, but it's something I've been thinking about, a new pricing package to maybe start offering some basic websites at for like $100-200 a month. It isn't something I have tested yet, but it's something that's on my radar. I'm thinking about testing it as a way to just get a bunch of residual recurring in for people that would like never cancel, right? People would never cancel their website. And we have all these tools that we use right now to get these websites set up really quickly, and we could charge a monthly fee. So I'm thinking about testing some foot in the door strategies, everybody, but also not just the strategy to get our foot in the door, because we are already familiar with that, but also the ongoing strategy, like the follow-up strategy, I guess, for building in more residual. So that's definitely something that's on my radar, Tom. I told you, a little bit ago that I'm going to bring on some more salespeople in my agency, and that's going to be something that we're going to try to sell, and I'm going to see how it works. And if it works well, of course, we're going to bring it to the Sharks and share how we're doing that.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea because, that's the Wix and the Squarespace business model, right? But I'm sure there's a lot of local businesses that instead of paying Wix would probably be willing to pay you a little more each month, just knowing that you're in the area and that they can contact you. Right.
Mm-hmm. And it's, don't be mistaken. We're still going to sell $8,000 websites, $10,000 websites. We're just adding another price point, another item to our product line of the same product, right? For the most part, it's just a website. So we're just there's a lot of people that we turn away that can't afford a $5,000 website, right? But they can afford a $100 a month website, and we might as well sell it to them. So anyway, that's just something I've been thinking. I didn't mean to derail the shout outs there too. But did you see, so we have JT on our shout out list too. And just so all of you know, this win that JT got here, we actually created this graphic and maybe the shout out a little preemptively because we were helping him to get this win, and the deal actually fell through. It turns out that the person that he was bringing in was, well, I guess they were not legit, right? Is that right, Tom?
A little sketchy, yeah. The deal was a little sketchy, and so he asked our advice, and we were like, man, if it were us, we would pass on the deal. We helped him get it all together. The guy was ready to go, but there was a couple of things the guy wanted to throw into the agreement that just seemed sketchy to us. So we were like, hey, man, you should pass on it. But yeah.
And it happens, right? That's part of the deal. We run into issues like this all the time, or not all the time, but it happens. And when it does happen, it's important to know and be able to have that awareness and foresight to maybe see that something like that is coming down the pike, right? You don't want to take on a client that's going to be a nightmare or going to be a headache. So if they're showing some signs, some red flags, then you want to maybe back out as quickly as possible. Or you get any idea at all that they're potentially a scammer or something like that, you don't want to do that. So I apologize for the preemptiveness on the graphic here, but in any case, needless to say, client wins to talk about shortly here anyway. So I just wanted to give that disclaimer there.
Awesome. Thanks, Nick. Yeah. So a shout out to Remote Millionaires member Jocelyn Wing as well. She got a drywall repair guy called to give his debit card $350 a month for local SEO. Awesome to see, Jocelyn. It was a lot of fun hanging out with you here in Vegas when we got to meet up. Also a shark shout out to Frank Barrett. So Frank landed his first client. That is a big deal, Frank, the first client. I mean, that deserves an applause. It was $850 for a WordPress website to a home improvements contractor in his area. Sounds like a home service jackpot job, huh? Mm-hmm. So congratulations, Frank. That's great. $850. And then our final shark shout out this week goes to Ahmad Haran. He picked up a new gig, $200 a month social media posting for a real estate agent. So congratulations, Ahmad. Fantastic work. Fantastic work. And for those of you that are keeping score at home, that is a grand total. Oh, the numbers aren't in here. Oh, maybe can somebody give me the numbers for that? For some reason, they're not in the show notes.
I think we're running calculations for a deduction of.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yep. Okay, cool. We'll give you those totals here in a minute.
But we got a couple 100,000 in revenue coming in already. We know that for sure since we were here last week.
Yeah, last week we were over 200,000, weren't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
200,000 of real revenue collected, right? Real revenue, verified revenue collected by people, not a hypothetical internet marketing random number that people pick, throw the date on the back, make them sound better type of number. Real verified revenue collected by our sharks collected in our group.
Yeah. Awesome. I'm going to take this link off of here for now.
Yeah.
And let's see. Maybe, Cameron, I don't know if we did, but can we drop that link to Jeff's thing in the comments in case somebody wants to find it later? Awesome. Okay, so we did our shark shout outs. Another thing we want to do is our member of the week. So let me get down here. This is awesome because we always look for a member of the week, somebody who's like a good steward of the community, who's out there taking action. And even though this week their deal didn't pan out, we wanted to reward JT because look, hold on, let me get this here.
He took massive action.
He took massive action. He worked that deal almost to the goal line, and then something he couldn't control came up. But JT, it was an awesome effort. You just keep that up. You're going to close so many of those deals. It's going to be awesome. So congratulations. You're our member of the week, and we've got a special Shark swag box coming out to you. You'll get that. Somebody from our team will reach out. So congratulations, JT, for being our member of the week. And I forgot to put up our little graphic of that. There we go. JT Russell, member of the week.
So one thing I wanted to point out too, like in my opinion, a reason that we picked JT as member of the week is because he went through all the motions correctly, right? He had a lead that he found that was good, and he asked the right questions. He went into our private, like our remote millionaire partners, right? They have direct access to Tom and I. We have a private Slack workspace together. So JT has one, and he was like, "Hey, I have this lead. I have a call with them shortly. What do you think I should do? What price point do you think I should sell at?" And actually, what I did was I sent him a case study of a call that I closed, very similar to the one that he was hoping to close, so that way he could hear and see how I did it, right? Similar to like our bonus package, one of those calls that you have there. That's exactly, the example, a type of example I'm sharing with you. So he got the lead, he asked the questions, right? The lead didn't turn out to be good, but actually pausing the tape, asking the questions, a lot of you go to the Facebook group to ask questions. You get a lot of good feedback from the Facebook group, right? So it's important to just leverage the network that you have. Some of you might not be in Remote Millionaires. Some of you might just be in the Facebook group. Use the group, use the group. There are a lot of people in there that have experience. You can see we have the best Facebook group for local marketing. I mean, there are a lot of groups out there, but none of them have the engagement and activity that we have. And it's because everybody in our group is actually doing this, to one degree or another, whether they're, they got one client, they're just studying before they get their first client, or they already have 10 clients. That's the reason our group is so powerful, because people come and they actually use it. They post questions, they ask questions, and JT did that, right? Like he had great execution there. So good job, JT. We're going to get another one.
Yeah, we will. Plenty more of those to come. Awesome. Let's see. One thing we should do. Yeah, JT says this group is off the hook. JT's in the house. That's right. Why don't we, I know, Nick, you're going to have to step away here for a minute, possibly. So why don't we take some questions? You guys have any, what questions do you guys have for us?
And I can throw up a slide for a thought-provoking topic for questions, Tom, real quick.
Yeah, sounds good.
Because I know we were talking about, like at the beginning of the live, right? We were talking about our 3-step process that is what we kind of use. And so, a lot of you may have seen this before, right? This is from our webinar training the other day. This is what we use to fund our projects and have experts take care of the actual fulfillment for us without us having to spend our own money. When we were originally starting to figure out how to outsource, it can be a process, right? Who here is still confused about outsourcing? Put a 1 in the chat if you might feel a little bit, you have questions about outsourcing. Maybe you haven't done it before, or maybe you have done it before and you haven't been able to have a successful project, or maybe you've hired somebody that, wasn't cool in the past. And I don't really see a lot of ones coming in, which is good. That means a lot of you have experience with outsourcing. But the reason I'm bringing all that up is because I remember vividly, having a mental block, thinking that I wouldn't be able to hire anybody because I didn't have the money to hire anybody to help me, right? Me and Tom were working night and day, building websites, posting content on social media, doing outreach, running ads, all those things we were doing ourselves. And for some reason, it was like, I could never get over that, Tom, where I'm like, we need help, but we can't hire anybody because we can't afford to pay them a salary. And that was not the real way to think about it. right? The real way to think about it is, here's what we do. The first thing we do is we find a client, right? We collect the money first. So if you sell a website, you collect whatever. Let's just say you have a $2,000 website deal that you sell. First thing you do is you collect the money, and then you take a portion of that money and you go find an outsourcer or somebody that's good at building websites to help you build that project. And so we take about 30% of that, and we fund the project. So, generally we can get somebody to build us a really nice, high quality website for around $300 to $500. And so we give that to them, and then we keep the rest. So that's how we operate on our clients' money rather than spending our own money to fund these jobs. And then we just keep the profit. And then we're essentially just a middleman. So does anybody have any questions on how or why we're doing this? Or, I think that would be a great topic of discussion.
Yeah, I think so too. And one thing that's important about this process, right, is there's another little piece about this, right? And that is what kind of comes before we get that first client, which in our case is building a Rolodex of qualified people that can do the fulfillment, right? We don't hire them, but we have them in our back pocket. That's important because, the first time we tried this, I just did it flying by the seat of my pants, right? Like, I got a client, let's find somebody to do it. And like, when you're stressed trying to find somebody because the project needs to get started, it's harder to wait it out and get the right person, right? Like whoever this person here is saying, finding the right ones, right? You don't want to be rushing that process. So a really good thing to do is to start building that Rolodex first, so that once you get the client, it's just like super easy. It's like bam, 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 and you're going, right? But that's an important piece. And then I saw Dorn had a great question too. He said, what's your control mechanism for outsourcers, i.e. access to assets, resources, softwares, etc.? And we use LastPass, but you can use any password manager that you want, right? But LastPass allows us to control all of that stuff with just a couple of clicks. We can grant team members access, and they never see passwords, they never see information, and we can take access away if we're not working with somebody or they move on or whatever that may be. So that's how we do it.
Yeah, and then when it comes to the file sides of things, like, if you're just working with somebody, first time you're ever working with them, I believe in trying to cultivate that relationship, right? So an example is like the first time you meet somebody, you're not going to give them the keys to your car and say, go ahead and drive my car, right? You have to build trust with somebody before you do something like that, right? You want to make sure they have a driver's license. You want to make sure they've already driven a car successfully before. Maybe they have their own car. Does it look like shit? No. If they keep it nice, then maybe you'll give them your keys. So that's an example, right? We do the same thing with our assets and our outsourcers and our team. When we first meet somebody, we like to give them a test project. That way we verify if they can even do what we want. Do they have good communication back and forth? And in that test project, maybe we'll just give them some temporary assets or some test assets in a Google Drive folder before we give them access to everything. And if they do that test project well, then maybe we'll give them a little bit more access. So generally, Dorn, we just gradually increase our trust over time, which I think is a great way to do it because, if you just go all in and trust somebody, give them everything, you're just opening yourself up to risk. There's a lot of good questions in here, Tom.
Yeah, this one, I had 8 meetings on Upwork this week. Hard to find the right people. I don't know, eight meetings really isn't like a lot in the big picture, right? Like, I mean, think about this. This is your business you're talking about. This is your future, your livelihood, your ticket to the lifestyle that you want. If you keep that in perspective, like how many people would you sit down and talk to find the right person if it will give you all those things you're looking to do? Yeah. I mean, that is the perspective you need to look at this. Not like, oh my God, I had to do, 8 meetings. Like, no, it's like, man, you're trying to find the right person that is going to help you get to where you want to go. And they are a critical piece of that, right? So like as many meetings as it takes, like you just want to do as many meetings as it takes to find that right person. So don't quit before the magic happens, right?
And you could make the argument too that like your process of finding people leads could very much help you to weed out the not so good candidates before they even, end up on your short list. right? So the process that you use to find people, vet people, pre-qualify people, if you are looking for people and you have 30 crappy applicants, there's something wrong with your process, right? If all of your applicants are bad, there's something wrong with your process. You're not identifying and laying out the job well enough for the people that are looking to apply. Maybe you're not paying well enough. There's a lot of different things, but I can generally tell you, like, if we have 8 people that are good candidates that we are shortlisting and interviewing, that's a pretty good number, but if you're looking at the 8 that are coming in that are like at the top of your application process, then you should figure out a way to filter it down to, 3 or 4 of the good people that are shortlisted. This is all stuff that we talk about in Remote Millionaires, by the way. We actually show people our hiring process. So if you have any questions
we actually
about
give them that, right? The SOPs,
you may want
everything.
to consider.
You may want to come to the happy hour, hang out, ask some questions. See, here's a question from Janice. She said, talking to a client about a website rebuild. She had a meeting and looked at a few websites for design. Who actually does all of the page design / mapping work to give to the website designer? Is that me?
No.
So go ahead, Nick.
No, it's definitely not you, Janice. One of the things that we do when we build a website is we gather information from the people that want their website built. So we use our discovery forms. Like if we close a website deal and they haven't filled out a discovery form because they skipped a step in our lead process, well, if we close them, then we still have them go fill out the discovery form, because on that form, we ask them things like, give us an example of your 3 top websites that you like. That way we can get an idea of like what they're looking for, right? And we give that information along with other information that we collect about the project, to our developer. And, with those examples, with that information, the developer can come up with a concept that is going to fall in line with what they are looking for, right? But if you're new to it, you're going to try to create a website based off of what they say that you have no real documentation for, and you're kind of setting yourself up for failure there. You want to have some sort of a paper trail in documenting what people are looking for, so that you can always go back to that, right? You can always go back to that. And some of the bigger projects that might require a little bit more particular detailed work, you might want to have your developer create a mock-up first. And so if they create a mock-up of the design before it actually goes live, then you can share that with your client first. And if they have any issues with that, then you can adjust the mock-up rather than having to recode something that has already been coded and built, right? So the mock-up stage might be a good way to take out some of the risk of what you're looking for. But generally, go back to your question, we let the developer take the information that we collect, come up with a concept, and then we get approval from the client if that's what they're looking for or if they like it.
Awesome. This person wants to know, how long will you take to deliver the website after collecting the money?
So if you have your own, which is what we recommend, right? And I've been talking to a lot of people that have been interested in joining Remote Millionaires and all that. And I've been hearing this a lot lately. Everybody wants to have this white label outsourced solution that you can just hand clients off to completely. And there are a lot of companies out there that offer the magic bullet solution. I'll give you some examples. Vendasta, The Hoth, SEO Reseller, those types of brands that are like, we'll do everything for you. We'll make your clients rank. We'll do all the client communication, all that stuff. That sounds great. I've tried them all. Never had a good experience. So with that being said, we generally bring all of our contractor work in-house. We find experts to work with. We work with them directly. We don't work with big agencies, because every week you're gonna have to work with somebody else that's new. They rehire, you lose people that you work with, they sell their company, you have to start all over. It's just not a sustainable way to grow a business. And what we do is we just find people we like to work with, we vet them, they're skilled, they want to make money, we can build it all in-house. This also allows us to have a quicker time of development. So for us, if we have the assets for a website, our developer can generally build it within a week. We don't tell the client that it's going to be a week. We say, hey, it's going to be, 3 to 4 weeks. And we set the expectation further out. That way, if there's issues, we don't have any issues with them. But 3 to 4 weeks is I mean, totally doable. I've heard people waiting 6 months to get a basic website done, and that's a long time. That is a crazy long time.
Yeah.
So if you come in at 2 months, or you say it's 6 months and you come in at 2 months, you're going to be fine. But if you say it's a month and you come in at 2 weeks, you're going to be fine too. So it's up to you to set the expectation. This is another thing that your test project will help you to identify. You know, if you give your team a test project to build, it'll give you an idea of how long it takes them to build. And that way you can actually gauge how long a project is going to take to your client.
Yeah, awesome. JT wants to know, finding a good salesperson, what do you look for in them? I know for me, my biggest thing is like, what are their communication skills, right? Do they have good communication? Do they seem, are they professional? Like, how's their presence, right? Like, is their presence good? Can they follow directions, right? Are they willing to follow directions? Those are things I look for. Nick, how about you?
Yeah, I think my things for salespeople has been changing and growing over time. You know, generally now, you know, there are a lot of very experienced salespeople that are out there, and a lot of them are good, but you'll find that a lot of them also want to do stuff their own way, which can be good or bad, right? I've also found that you don't necessarily need to be an expert salesperson to do all right. You just need to know the product. You need to know the product. You need to know the lead, the person you're selling to, and you need to sound like an expert. So sounding like an expert could be a multifaceted thing, but that generally means you need to know the problems that your lead is solving or having, how the solutions you are selling solve those problems. And so when you speak with them over the phone or through email, you can articulate where they're having the most pain and how you can help them. And so if you sound like an expert and you're not really an expert, but you can at least sound like an expert, you're going to do a pretty good job in your sales already. But that's generally what I look for. I have been hiring lately based off of that. You know, if they can sound like an expert, their ability to learn a product and the lead. And if they can do that, then they're probably going to be a pretty good salesperson.
Okay, Janice said, further, what do you charge for the page designing before it goes to the website builder? So Janice, that's usually included in the total cost, right? Like, we don't do that until they've agreed to hire us and agreed to the price for the website. So if we're charging $8,000 for a website, that includes our price to do that pre-design. So we don't do any of that until they're actually a client and they've given us, in our case, a 2/3 deposit. JT, yes, that's LastPass. Michael says that doesn't really work. They can still, I don't know, Michael, we've never had that happen. Like we've never had any issues with LastPass. So there may be something I don't know about.
Michael, if you can add somebody as a user to a platform that you're trying to share access to, that's obviously always going to be the better way. You know, I've heard of LastPass having some ways to find out passwords later. Not everybody is, you know, able to do that, you know, so it's really, yeah. I mean, you gotta make the decision on if you are sharing a password and what the percentage of risk really is, and if you're willing to take it, right? Like, so when I share LastPass access to people, generally what I'm sharing with them isn't something that can be compromised anyway, right? Like, and if it is, then I'm not sharing it with somebody that I don't trust. And so if it's somebody that you do not know and you don't really trust, then you shouldn't be giving them the, you know, access to your bank account. You should be adding them as a user or something, right?
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like, you're assuming that everybody you're giving access to is in somehow trying to scam. And like, our hiring process and vetting process makes that very unlikely. I'm not saying it's impossible, but we feel pretty confident that the people we're sharing things with are trustworthy because that's part of our process, right? Like, we're not just giving access to every Joe Blow. It's like, hey, add me to your LastPass. So, you know, I mean, I guess somebody could try to get hired on with us that's deliberately trying to do that, but I think the chances are we'd be able to sniff them out and not hire them, right? So it's all a function of the process, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's
at
certain
the end of the
things,
day,
they have to have access
be,
to. So you want
everything
them to be
can be found online, right?
Yeah. Dorn said their last listing for salespeople had over 400 responses in a week.
There's no shortage of salespeople out there, people.
Yeah. Oh, our person said they had 8 people doing a trial job. That's awesome.
Nice.
Fantastic,
okay.
Man. That's a big win.
Yeah. So then I still feel the same way, right? Your trial job is going to help you figure out, who those quality people are. So if you've filtered it down to 8 people that you're giving a trial job to, I think you're doing a good job. I think you're doing a good job thus far.
Yeah, and this ties right into Sandy's question. So Sandy's saying, are you saying you give them a test project that are not client projects but your own, like having them build digital assets or do work for you? So Sandy, no, we are not trying to get them to do work for us for free. That's not what we're doing. That's not what we're doing. But we do need to see their process, how they communicate and how they work. So we do ask them to do test projects depending on what service we're looking for. So for instance, if we're looking for a website person to help us with our home service jackpot sites, then our test project would be, we're going to send you a WordPress theme and some demo content. Please set it up on a domain and message us the link when it's done. We want to see how long it takes them to do that, right? We're vetting them. Do they ask us questions? What do they do, right? Whew, somebody's revving their engine. We found that the best people we've hired are the ones that 10 minutes later are like, okay, it's done. Here it is. They're not work-intensive test projects. If we have to have them do a test project that's going to take a long time, we pay them. We offer to pay them. Like, hey, we understand this test project might be a little more involved. We're willing to pay your rate for you to do that for us. The important thing is we're vetting. We're not trying to get them to do work for us for free. If it's a social media person, they may not have to do a test project, but we'll ask to see, samples of things they've made, stuff like that, right? So it varies from service to service, but that's the general idea. We need to gauge their communication, see how they do, what kind of questions they ask, all that stuff. But if you're going to use the test project for them to do work for you, you should pay them. Like, we don't want to, the trust relationship goes both ways, right? It goes both ways. So we want to be trustworthy. That way we have trustworthy people that work for us, and, giving them test project. And I'm not saying this is what you're suggesting, but I just want to put that out there. Giving them test projects so that you can get work done, without paying it wouldn't be a good idea. So, as long as you keep them simple, most people that you're going to be interviewing expect that. Like, good employers ask you to do a test project. They just keep them short, simple, and sweet, right? So hopefully that answers that. I see Nick had to step off. Janice says, thanks. How much does the concept usually cost? Janice, it's going to vary depending on who you have doing the work, right? So when you're vetting your outsourcer that's going to do the work for you, that's what you would be working out with them. Typically, they're going to include that in the price of what they're doing. So, that's another reason why we want to have our fulfillment lined up before, right? So that we know those things and then we know what to charge. Let's see. It says, what test projects would you give someone to generate leads and appointment setting? So if you were hiring an appointment setter, what I would want to do with them is I'd probably do role playing versus giving them a test project. So, hey, let's act like you're doing appointment setting for me. How would this process go, right? Like, how would you handle this situation? I'd be asking them questions like that, not necessarily having them do the calling. That's a little different, right? So when you're hiring a sales appointment setting person, that's different than hiring a fulfillment person. So, that process is going to be more interview questions. It's going to be more us talking to them and vetting them that way. If they're a person who has sales experience, sometimes we ask if they have any recordings of sales calls they've done and could they share those with us? So that's more of that process. It's different from when somebody's doing fulfillment. Let's see here. Have you ever thought of offering your skilled OS for us guys to use, even if you mark it up? Yeah, of course we've thought about that, right? But, Lee, the thing is, like, that would really be doing you guys a disservice. it would be doing you a disservice if we did that. Right? Like, because you're not independent. You're falling back on a crutch, right? Like you don't want to have a crutch. We want you to build a business that does not rely on us, right? We want you to have a business that stands on its own, that regardless of what's happening around you, you can still grow and build. So, our view is, yes, we could do that, and we could probably make good money doing that, but it would really be doing a disservice to you. So
the skill, Lee, of hiring people, you have to learn that.
Yeah.
You're like, there's no way around it, right? And it's actually easy. It's actually very easy. It's not a difficult process, but until you get that mental block out of your head, like I can't find the right person. No one's going to be able to deliver the work like I do the job. I don't know how to look. I don't know how to work with. I don't know how to communicate. All these things are limiting beliefs. Until you get that out of the way and you realize hiring experts is easy. You don't even have to use your own money to do it. That is a valuable skill that you're going to use to take your business to 100,000, to 1 million, to multiple millions. And there's just no way around not needing the skill of finding good talent. So you have to have that. You have to have that, because if we leave and take our outsourcers with us, you're going to be screwed. You never want to put yourself in that position. You want to be independent. You want to have the freedom, and hiring is actually really easy.
Yeah. And now, by the way, that's not saying that using people like that from time to time isn't an acceptable practice. Like, we're not saying you're never going to do it or you never would, but it's important that you know the skill yourself. So if something does happen, you're covered. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's a point inside there. So let's see. I had an individual worker who wanted me to use their agency in Upwork. She does the work herself, but it's under an agency in Upwork. Could you explain what the difference for me or for them? Why would an individual rather be an agency? Do they get benefits? I mean, typically they're in an agency because somebody hired them, right? This is a person that got a group of people together and just said they're an agency, and now they're taking a percentage of all the work those people do. But like, here's an issue with that. Let's say you really love this person. They do fantastic work for you. And then the agency person decides they don't want to use them anymore because they want more money or they want this, and they get rid of them. And now they give you somebody new because you're working with the agency, not with the person. So again, we're talking about control, like having control of what we're doing, right? That's why we don't work with the agency people.
Yeah, we make $500,000 a year by working directly with just a couple of people.
Yeah. Sandy says you don't want to deliver too quickly because the client may feel that they overpaid. It was too easy and not worth it, and they could have done it themselves. Sandy, I don't think you need to worry about that.
No, Sandy, if someone is really good at their job, they're going to be able to do it quick. But yeah, you might throttle it back a little bit if you're done within 5 minutes. Sure.
Yeah. Michael says he's tested across device. It shouldn't be the biggest concern. Just change the password if you let someone go. Yeah, and that's good to have that system in place, Michael. Right? Obviously. Let's see. How would we best let someone in a training / course of Sharks? Just give them our login.
You should ask them to buy their own membership. Is really what you should do.
Typically,
if we're being fair here, right? Everybody gets one license. Unless they're on your team. I don't know. What's the gray area? I'll let you use your...
Yeah, if you have a team member, you need to give them access. Just sometimes it's good to just give us a head. Like, let us know at our support. Like, contact offlinesharks.com support and be like, hey, I want to give a team member access. What do I do? They can usually help you out. We just don't want people handing out access to a bunch of different people, right? Like, I got kids to put through college, people.
Yeah, Tom's got 2 kids coming up. They got to go to college, so
at least one of them is going to college. So Oh, just kidding. They're both going to college. Let's see. Here we
Tom,
go.
we have a lot of questions. We answered a lot of questions. We're gonna have another call for even more questions. If people got any value out of this at all, I think we're coming up here in the top of the hour. Maybe we should just parlay these into the other call. What do you think?
Yeah. If you still have questions, bring them over to the happy hour. So here, let me let me show you what's going on. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at those two good-looking guys, Nick. We're going to have a live Q&A happy hour. It's going to be on Zoom. So it's going to be a lot like this. Like, I'll be able to see you guys. You'll be able to see me. I'm actually going to move inside the cigar bar and possibly light up a stogie while we're hanging and chilling and chatting. And we're just going to have questions. So you can ask in the chat. I can unmute you. We can talk. Whatever questions you guys have, we'll do that. Just go to offlinesharks.com/happy hour. I'm going to start that around 1:30 and, just hang out until we've answered the questions. So, yeah.
I mean, let us know in the chat right now. Type in me if you got some value out of the information that we shared here today. Type me in the chat if that's you. If hearing from Tom and my experience, from our perspective, from our vantage point of the things that we know, that we shared about, and just this little sliver of building a remote business, outsourcing, the 3-step process here, collecting other people's money, was that valuable to you? The questions that you all asked, was the responses that we have, do they come from a place of knowing how to do this? Do you have more questions? If that's you, and I see a lot of me's coming in right now, Suzette, Patty, Jacqueline, Chandra, a lot of people not logged into Facebook, so I can't see your name. Janice, Bobby, come to the happy hour, right? We're not going to be wearing our Aloha shirts, just so you know, or Tom might be.
I'm not.
But come to the happy hour. Tom's also claiming there might be adult beverages. You have to bring your own.
You have to bring your own, but you should bring your own adult beverages.
Right.
It's happy hour. Come on, it's Friday. It's Friday. Yeah. Look at the gorgeous blue sky. Let's kick the weekend off right.
Good stuff. It's been a good live show, Tom.
Yeah, it's been an awesome live show. One thing we do have to do before we go.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, money, money.
Dollar, dollar. Dollar, dollar. Ching, ching, bling, bling, got the chatter. You ain't talking money, then you're talking no matter.
We got to give away some Cash App money. So before the live show, whoever went to our Shark Shoutouts post and said, great job, posted, our team selected a couple random winners. Who are the winners, Nick?
The two winners are Shar Canty and Bobby Roel.
Congratulations! Our team will be reaching out. You can drop your Cash App tag in the comments or your PayPal, or somebody from our team will reach out. We'll get you paid.
Man,
money.
Tom, I was just thinking, we give away money every single week on this show. On all of our trainings, really, we give away stuff, money. I mean, just cold hard cash for the most part. We should start keeping a tally on how much money we give away, just like how we keep a tally on how much money you guys collect as a result of all the stuff we share and talk about here. We should start keeping a tally on how much money we give away. I mean, every single week we're giving away money. So if this is your first live, you should be at the live every single week, every single Friday. It's the same time.
Well, I will tell you, just based on what we typically do. I mean, I know we do at least a minimum. I mean, this is the bare minimum on the live show, like $2,600, because we give away a couple of things, and we do that every week, 52 weeks in the year. Of course, I don't know. We've been doing this live show for, man, how many years have we been doing the live show now?
Couple of years.
Couple of years, and I think we've only not done it maybe like twice, maybe 3 times.
I mean,
look, it's important. Yeah. Watch what we do. Our consistency. Like, we do the same thing in the agency that we do here. Consistency, perseverance, persistence, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, awesome. Well, great live show. Listen, thanks everybody for hanging out. I highly encourage you to grab some drinks and meet me on Zoom in about 30 minutes. We'll be doing a happy hour live Q&A. Bring your questions. We'll just sit and chill and hang out. Should be fun. We'll do it until there's no more questions, or maybe the battery runs out on my laptop. I don't know. I just realized I didn't bring a charging cord, but I have a lot of juice, so we should be good. And I'll see you guys on the Zoom. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out. Thanks for spending time with us. We really appreciate it. Stay safe out there. We'll see you next Friday. Same Shark time, same Shark channel. We're going to cue the... hold on. Let me put the link up here. There we go. There's the link for the happy hour at the bottom of the screen. And then we'll see you next Friday, everybody. Stay safe. Practice aloha.
You've been listening to the Sharks Live Show, your weekly marketing jam session. Always bringing you the latest strategies and tactics to build your remote business from anywhere in the world. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this stream. You can stay up to date throughout the week with Nick's YouTube videos at nickponte.com/YouTube and Tom's podcast at tomgaddis.com. We'll be back here next Friday for another Sharks Live Show. Until then, aloha.
Are you there?
Dude,
Hold on,
Dan
hold
just
on.
got